Elimination battle with the new and improved Odinon dragon. Welcome back to another Bit Legend video, fellas. So they recently updated Odinon Dragon. When the patch came through, it actually didn't have the update. Then they tossed it in there with the hotfix, but this is what the proposed changes were anyway, so it's all the same in the end. So the hit point bonus is gone, the stamina is lower, he's got a lot more offensive stats. He gained, I think, 15% crit, so he went from 10 to 25. So this is looking pretty good. His stats pretty optimal. That's pretty good healthy stamina. He should be fast enough to be relevant in content. I mean, it's looking pretty good. Still difficult to make, but I mean, that's the point of this guy. So closest enemy, closest enemy, closest enemy, 2 SP random enemy, and then he's got a 2 SP heal all. Well, now with his agility being higher, he can actually use that 2 SP heal all, and I think it's going to heal for around like 2,000 or something. Maybe a little bit more, maybe 2.5. So some folks are using him for some heals. He's doing decent performance against like Guild Boss, for example, but decent does not mean great. He's still being outclassed by other DPS legendaries that are not hyper. So we shall see how this continues to evolve, but I do like that the devs are working on these hyper legendary fusions. They're keeping them relevant. They're working on them. That we are seeing some sort of development there. The other option would be the devs could just say, all right, screw these old ones. We'll just make new ones in the future and just go that way. We are not seeing that. The devs are still committed to making these guys valuable. So if you have different opinions on what you want to see on them or changes or whatnot, that's what the suggestion channel is for. But let's jump back into the video. So this is elimination mode. I have like 3,500 total stats-ish, 3.4, something like that. And it feels like elimination battle is scaling with total stats. Not scaling with your tier, but scaling with total stats. And that is contrary to what was the popular belief. But anyways, we're losing crit, we're losing hit points. We are losing more hit points, so we're losing a lot of hit points. The lower the hit points is, the higher the damage the enemies will deal, up to 30% bonus, and then restores the surviving enemies' health to 30% when they get killed. So the enemies, when they get dropped down, they're gonna have a lot of time at low health and have that damage bonus there. And we're losing a lot of hit points, so this could be interesting. And like I said, main purpose is to check out the new Odinon and see what's up. But I've added more total stats, and I've got to say that it actually feels like this has gotten a lot more difficult, elimination mode. We are starting off with the worst possible start as well. Having that straightaway, you really can't slip by. You can only slip by enemies if it's like on the corner, and if you have like a speed boost, which I'm not rocking one right now. So it should be relatively difficult, but I think we'll be okay. We don't have the attack random, which I've been able to be triumphant against the attack random mutation. Probably at least 50%, probably a little bit more, just depends on which boss we're fighting and whatnot. I did get rid of my emergency shield, so definitely we're gonna feel that, because getting a shield going all the time would be great. It's just that I focus my build and I prioritize people that are running rated 8 right now, and the emergency shield was not needed. We have a lot of shielding on our raid team, so we don't need the shields, and my sanctification heal was slowing things down a lot as well. The runtime as far as animations and whatnot are concerned. So I took it out. And for that, I did gain like 1.5 damage reduction, so it's significant, but I still feel it. I'm considering doing a push into the campaign again. I'm still at 11.6. And I should probably go back in there and try to take a swing at it. Now I've got a little bit more total stats. But with the loss of with the loss of emergency shield, I don't know. I really don't know if it's going to be enough to get past the meat wagon, so I might wait for like one more upgrade. But we'll see. Who knows? If I get bored, I'll film it. And if it's worth putting up, I will put that video up. But we are sneaking down here. What could it be? Oh, it's boss right there. I think I've got enough total stats. No, not total stats. I think I've got enough SP. I don't know, I'm getting my words mixed up today, but it is what it is. So let us do it. I'm expecting some massive damage coming out of that boss, and me doing the attack all skills is probably not the best way to go because the enemies do more damage when they're lower, so I'm basically asking for problems by doing this, but yeah, let's see how it goes. Hopefully one more will take these guys down. I didn't see the revive. Maybe it happened and we didn't notice, but we're chunking him pretty quick. We'll do that mount skill, kabang. Let's see if he gets revived. Didn't see it there. Did I read it wrong? Does he not get yeah, they're supposed to get revived, right? Yeah, surviving enemies will get 30% health when they get killed. I didn't see it. It could be a visual bug. Maybe they got revived and I just didn't see it. That could be, but we walked through this. We walked through that pretty quick. So, I'll probably still keep the video, put it up to give you guys something. I know I've kind of staggered out my uploads a little bit more than usual, but it's kind of a twofer. We're talking about the updated Odinon, and we're talking about elimination scaling with TS instead of based on your tier. Everybody I talked to, and it felt this way, it was scaling off tier, but it seems like it's off total stats, and that makes more sense. The only downside is this means that the better gear that you get, theoretically, the more difficult elimination becomes, and that's not the worst thing. But if something becomes more difficult, then the player expects more rewards from it. So, it's like, because what's going to happen if someone's having a hard time on this, what they're really going to do is they're just going to put on a lower piece of gear. So put on like an epic item that's not upgraded, and then they'll just run elim, and we call that sandbagging. You can also do sandbagging in PvP if you're having difficulty against the opponents that you get. You could just take off a bunch of gear, put on low gear, and just run into a bunch of lower players if you really had to do it. But so not a great mechanic. You usually want to look at the design when the game is pointing a player in that direction and say, okay, what can you do with the design? And so you really got two options. One is penalize the player if they lower total stats, or if they take off gear, you throw some penalty in there, and that obviously doesn't feel good. Probably most of you guys are cringing as soon as I said penalize player. So obviously that's not the one that I would want to see. The other option would be to incentivize player or reward the player for having higher total stats. So the way that PvP does that is, and it's not the most significant now, but the way PvP does that is that the higher total stats you have, the higher opponents you will see, and if you win, you will get more points for winning, and you'll go up the rank chart. So that's how PvP compensates for that. But with elimination, I don't know. What's going to happen when I have 5,000 total stats, but elimination scales to like your total stats plus 20% or whatever the numbers they're using? I'm not getting more of this currency. I'm getting the same currency, so I might as well just take off a bunch of gear and run through it. But that's Odinon. He still looks awesome. I wish those were cosmetics that players could wear, like Odinon back piece, Odinon helmet, Odinon offhand, Odinon main hand, so on. You get the idea. But why can't I look like that? It would make me look like a boss. Ha 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 ha. So anyways, this one's probably just gonna be a walkthrough, so I will do that on my own time, and I'm out of energy anyways. So, as always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.